Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got two really big topics today. The first one is going to be, sad to say, many people in America, according to the prophecies, are about to die. And EMP in Prophecies. Either one of these, I could have done a little bit more research and turned each one of them into an entire program. I have that much information. In other words, I've got several more prophecies that say that a lot of people in America are about to die. I don't know if it's the earthquake. I don't know if that earthquake is caused by the meteor. I don't know if there's a bunch of people starving to death because their suitcase nukes go off or because they shut down the food supply. I mean, there's a lot of things. When America has been handed the divorce papers put into our hand, and Jesus is now no longer calling us America, but now calling us the Mystery Babylon, just as Revelation 13 and, Revelation 18 and let's see, Jeremiah 50, 51, Isaiah 13, 21, and 47. 6 chapters in the Bible call us the Mystery Babylon. I could make an entire program on either one of them, but instead I'm going to split it into two programs. Okay, so first of all, some of the prophecies that say that a bunch of Americans are about to die. Now, first of all, let me give you a little bit of a background so you understand. So we're briefly going to explain what happens on Armageddon. Now, this is the last day of the 7-year tribulation. Isaiah 17:14 says, in the evening they are, and in the morning they are not. In other words, the day of the Lord is just that. It is less than 24 hours. And he returns in the night, because he returns as a thief in the night. These scriptures I'm about to tell you are describing what the New World Order army, Satan's army, which comprises of Satan and the beast and the false prophet and the kings of the earth, all of their fallen ones, all of their giants, which are the Nephilim, which are the half giant or half fallen ones and half humans, and also the mutants, which we haven't discovered exactly what their makeup is, but they're not necessarily 100% human either. We've talked about the mutants. So it's basically everything that 6,000 years the devil can accumulate in power and strength and technology. Everything he can come up with is thrown at Israel, trying to get Jesus' return, and he does return on Armageddon. And it is an attempt by the devil to overthrow Jesus. And of course, if you go read Revelation 19, it tells what happens. And the sword of them that, how's it going? And the sword of him that sat on the horse killed all of them. I forget the exact wording there. And the remnant were slain by the sword of him that sat on the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So that's what happens to the people that come down to attack Jerusalem. So this is describing the New World Order army. And I need to tell you this so that you can understand the next thing that's about to happen. So we'll start Joel 2:1. Blow the trumpet in Zion. This is Israel. This is God telling Israel that they're about to be attacked. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound an alarm. In other words, it's a call to war. Sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land, specifically Israel, tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Why? Because the sun has been out for 72 hours, and when Jesus returns, he doesn't return in nice white cumulus clouds like the pre-tribbers want to tell you. Instead, when he returns, it is darkness entering time. And I've explained that many times, so I'll keep going. Thick darkness as the morning spreadeth upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath never been the like, meaning this is the greatest assembly of technology and human and demon flesh that has ever existed, the greatest, most powerful army on the globe in human history that is coming down to attack Israel. A great people and strong, there has never been the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. There has never been an army like Satan's army that's about to attack. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. In other words, technology that we have never seen is about to be used, and if the tribulation has started, as 3 people say it has, that means in a little under 7 years, this is going to be taking place. The appearance of them as the appearance of horses and as horsemen. I believe that the mutants, some of them are going to be half demon, half human, but some of them are going to be half human, half fish, half horse, just like it was in the days of Noah. Remember Matthew 24, Jesus talks about that. Like the noise of the chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. In other words, they're really, really powerful. Whatever they are, they're half man, half horse, these hybrid half humans, half animals. Like the noise of the flame of a furnace, the fire that devours before them a stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. That's the second time God has told you that this is quite an army. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. And I believe that that's because of Isaiah 30, verse 26, where it says the sun gets 7 times hotter and the sun emits some kind of a radiation or a ray or something that turns all flesh on earth black. They shall run like mighty men. That's the 3rd time we've been told they're a very powerful army. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one in his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. In other words, they do as they are told. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon a sword, they shall not be wounded. You remember the Bible in, Revelation 9 says, in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. So apparently, they have the ability to regenerate, instant healing. Let's go on now. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake. That's another date stamp telling us when this happens. This happens right at Armageddon, the last day of humanity's sin, just before Jesus returned. Earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. It just told you, the sun goes out. The stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord shall utter his voice. That's when Jesus returns, when he returns with a shout with the voice of the archangel. That's what it's talking about. Before his army. For his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. And who shall abide it? Remember, Luke 21:36 says, watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you might be accounted worthy to escape these things and to stand before the Son of Man. It's not saying you can escape the tribulation, escape testing. It's saying who can stand. In other words, after Jesus blows with the breath of his mouth, brandishes his sword, sends the morning star down, which goes to the center of the earth, sets the foundation of the mountains on fire. If you make it past that, then you can say you abided or you escaped the burning. That's what it's talking about. Now let's go to what I'm talking about. This is brand new vision from Byron Searle of You Be Ready. While in prayer today, I was given a vision from the Lord. I believe he's hearing from God. I was high above an area, but I was not able to make out where I was or what I was seeing below. As I looked more closely, I started to see some type of circular area with what looked like 3 objects inside of it. I then started to hear what sounded like crowds of people cheering and taunting. I asked the Lord, what am I seeing? He said, look closer. With that, I was brought closer down to the area, and I could see 2 large objects circling around the outside of the circle with a small object in the center. I was still not able to tell what these objects were, but the sounds of the people cheering grew louder. Again, I asked the Lord, what is this? And he said, look closer. I was then brought down even closer and was now able to see what these objects were. I see that there are 2 very large dogs circling around one smaller dog. The 2 dogs were Rottweilers, very fierce and ferocious looking, with large spiked collars around their necks. They are slowly walking around the perimeter of the circle on opposite sides, snarling and growling at each other. The smaller dog is a little chihuahua sitting in the middle, shaking and looking fearful. My attention was then brought to the collars on the dogs. I see the Russian flag on the spike collar of one of the big dogs and the U.S. flag on the spike collar of the other dog. The small dog in the middle had a blue and yellow collar on. Obviously, it's talking about Russia, America, and Ukraine. The big dogs are constantly circling around the outside of the circle or ring, growling at each other, showing their teeth, and pounding their paws on the ground. The little dog now looks terrified as it is being moved, pushed, and shoved all around the ring between the two big dogs. I cannot see any people, but I can hear all of them shouting, cheering, and taunting as if they are close by and just outside the ring. The big Russian dog begins to take nips at the small dog, and I see blood appearing on his coat. The U.S. dog calls for help from his friends, and I see 3 other dogs come to his aid: an English bulldog, a French poodle, and a German shepherd. In other words, this is the story of America calling England, the French, and the Germans to aid fighting the Ukrainians where the Russians coming against Ukraine. The ring was now filled with these dogs who were circling, snarling, growling, and looking at each other, about to attack each other. Then suddenly a big hand appears from above and quickly throws a huge piece of meat into the middle of the ring. The vision ended, and the Lord spoke these words: "My son," now this is the important part, "war is now upon the world." That's what Vicky Goforth Parnell said. War is not going to just stay to one place, it's going to go on around the world. That, by the way, is another one of the signs that the white horse and the red horse have been released, as Vicky Goforth Parnell has said. War is now upon the world, and my judgments are set to commence. Remember, I was told, as the judgment hits, so are my miracles. Let's go on, though. Tell my children to keep their eyes on me and not the dogs of war growling at each other. Now, that's the point of the entire vision. In other words, as we see this war come up, what God is saying is don't get fearful. Don't get our eyes too much on the world, too much on the war. Keep our eyes on Jesus. How do we do that? May I suggest that you should be reading your Bible your King James Bible, on a daily basis. May I suggest that you should get my DVD where I explain to you how to build a prayer closet. And that's not hammer and nails, that's time on your knees, worshiping God. Tell my children to keep their eyes on me and not on the dogs of war growling at each other. The growling will continue until I throw in the meat, and I do not have any idea what the meat is. It's something that changes the situation. Then know that my coming is soon. Okay, so the meat is letting us know that it's coming in soon. The only thing I can think of there is it's probably the all-out Russian attack on America that Dmitry was told about. My children, the weapons of this war, now he's talking about Armageddon, the weapons of this war will be unmatched in all history. Many of these weapons are not known now and were developed with the aid of those who have been brought back to life, brought back through the portal. These are technologies that mankind has never had before. I'm going to read that again. It's that important. The weapons of this war will be unmatched in all of history. That's what we just read from the Bible. Many of these weapons are not known now and were developed with the aid of those who have been brought back. In other words, brought through the tunnels, brought through the portals, brought back to life through high technology. Again, Vicky Goforth Parnell has told us about a lot of that. Great darkness will be upon the nations. Why? Because the sun goes out. And much death will come when the dogs of war are let loose. My son, shout, repent loudly. Shout, wake up to my sleeping body. So it's saying if you have friends that are not saved, they have not asked Jesus into their heart, if they've not asked Jesus to forgive their sins, I'm telling you, you better get after them. Prepare now while you can. Prepare your hearts, for many will come before me very soon. Now, that's another point I want to make. I could probably go through, matter of fact, I made a whole program, a whole 30-minute program, just on the prophecies that say that a lot of folks in America are about to die. I mean, we got an earthquake prophecy on us. We got suitcase nukes. We got a lot of bad prophecies. But look at that. Prepare your hearts, for many will come before me very soon. He's saying that. Coverstone said the same thing. Fear not. If I abide in you, and you abide in me, I am with you. Remember the scripture says, if you abide in me, my words abide in you, you can ask what you will and be given. That's what he's saying. That's the point he's trying to make. He's trying to say, don't look at the war. Don't look at the world. Don't look at the things that are going. Don't be biting your fingernails. Instead, seek him. Repent now. All of you who doubt what is about to come upon you, much chaos is ahead. Brace now. And that's the same words that came out of Coverstone, too. So I want to say something else. And I read Benjamin Fulford every week. And I believe he has some real good information. I question whether he's a Christian, but I'm not going to beat up on him. I appreciate the information he puts out. But just as he probably disagrees with me on some things, I disagree with him on some things. But this thing I've got to talk about. February 6, 2023, the headline he put out is Khazarian Mafia has been comprehensively defeated. Mopping up continues. I think that the internal revolution is the good guys overcoming the bad guys, but I think it's only temporarily, because just like what we just read, at the end, it is the devil that has won right up until the time Jesus returns. So I disagree with him there. I think that there is going to be a time of a brief victory, but at the end, the devil is going to be winning when Jesus returns to put him down. Events over the coming weeks, he says, will make it obvious, even to the most brainwashed sheeple in the West, he's talking about us, that something fundamental and historic has taken place. Oh, I wish it was true. That there can be no doubt that the Khazarian Mafia, that's the Molochs, has been defeated and mopping up their last leaders has begun. Oh, I hope he's right. The arrest of New Zealand cross-dressing prime minister, criminal charges against the Swiss president, mass arrest of Ukrainian government officials, and many other events all point to this. Again, I hope he's right. I think that there is going to be an internal revolution. I think there is the Lord told me massive arrest, massive arrest. I do think that time is coming, but I think it is going to be short-lived. He goes on to say, a CIA source told him, the actual plan is to send up Hypersonic Warhead with a very powerful EMP attached. Now, that's the second thing I want to point to. I have got many prophecies that say, directly or indirectly, that there's going to be an EMP released on America. So here he's saying that he knows the fact that there is a plan to release an EMP hypersonic warhead on America. I'll read it again. The actual plan is to send up a hypersonic warhead with a very powerful EMP attached. It only takes 40 seconds to reach the altitude and destination after launching from a submarine off the East Coast. Well, if I have time, I'm going to read you a prophecy where that comes to pass. It can wipe out all electrical systems over most of the U.S. and a large part of Canada if released over the Omaha area. Now, what does that mean? All electrical systems. It means that your electricity goes out and it's not coming on in a couple of hours. It's not coming on a couple of days. It might not be coming on in a couple of months. It might not be coming back on. The higher up it is released, the more coverage area. The attached photograph shows the radius. The powers that can be very aware of the intentions, and this is not discussed publicly by Washington, D.C. and the fake Biden show. Once this is done, a blockchain-based internet will replace the oligopoly controlled one. In other words, they're saying that an EMP is going to bring in the new financial system. I hope not. Now let's talk about the EMP, the electromagnetic pulse. If there's anyone I know that is hearing from God, other than Dimitri Duduman, it is Henry Gruver. Of our 160 guest speakers we had over some 25 years, he was my favorite. I've had him in my home. I don't know, 6 or 7 times. Met his wife, his children. I know he hears from God. He made 5 or 6 DVDs for Prophecy Club. So anyway, in 1986, he said, I was in Wales on December 14th, 1986, and went up on top of the Eagle Tower in the Carnarvon Castle. It had 8 points on it, and each of the points were eroded eagles. This castle was built in the 12th century. I was overlooking the Irish Sea towards the North Sea, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and the top of Scotland, Greenland, Iceland in that area, which, by the way, you can watch all of the DVD by going to watchprophecyclub.com. And right now we have a special going. The first month is free. That is, if you get the 1-year subscription, that is normally $200, and we've even lowered the price for that right now. We've got a special on it for a limited time of only $180 a year. You can watch like $30,000 worth of DVDs. It's over 200 DVDs you can watch. All of a sudden, I was up above the earth, looking down on the earth like a globe. As I looked down on the earth, I saw all these massive amount of ships and airplanes coming out from above Norway, out of this inlet. They headed down between the United States and Europe. They literally covered the whole Atlantic. I wanted to see what was happening in the United States, and I looked across the globe at the United States, and I saw radio communication towers. Now, in those days, he didn't know what cell towers looked like. There were no cell towers when he saw this vision, but he saw cell towers. It was not until years later that they started putting up cell towers, and he thought, hey, that's what I saw in the vision, confirming the vision. I saw jagged lines to show that they're coming, that communications are coming out. But all of a sudden, as I was looking down, they began to sprinkle down on the earth like dust, meaning the first thing that happens when the Russians decide they're going to take out America is they hit us with an EMP attack that fries all the computer chips, and we are blind. I remember my dad said, all you got to do is pick up a handful of sand, throw it in the guy's face, and he can't see, and you can beat him as much as you want. I never did anything like that, but my dad was quite a fighter. Anyway, all of a sudden, I was looking down. They began to sprinkle down on earth like dust. I thought, oh no, they're not getting through. They're not getting through. They don't know what is happening. They're totally oblivious. Then I began to see submarines emerging from under the surface. I was surprised at how close they were to our borders. They were in our territorial waters. They were almost parked on our beaches. Then I saw missiles come out. They hit eastern coastal cities of the United States. I looked across the country, over to the northwest side, and I saw submarines, missiles coming out and hitting western coastal cities. The missiles took less than 60 seconds from launch to detonation. I saw one hit Seattle, Bellevue, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Miami, Tampa. I saw 6 nuclear blasts that just literally leveled everything. I cried out and I said, oh God, when will this be, and what should be the sign of its coming? I heard an audible voice speak from behind me and say, when Russia opens her doors and lets the masses go, the free world will occupy themselves transporting, housing, feeding, and caring for the masses, and will let down their weapons and cry peace and safety. Then sudden destruction will come. Then is when it will come. Now, why would Russia open her doors and let the masses go just before she attacks America? Because anybody that doesn't want to be on Russia's side, any traitors, any people that might complain, any people that might go against Russia, she wants to let them go. So she basically says, if you don't like Mother Russia, if you don't love this nation, get out. He may say something like, you got 30 days to get out. And there would be masses coming out of Russia. Does that make sense? Now, let me go to another one. Once again, Henry Groover, January 1990. I saw missiles coming out of these waters, out of the Pacific Oceans, airplanes coming in towards certain cities along the Northwest. When it looked like they would do their devastation, I heard a voice speak from heaven like thunder and said, watch what I will do. The mountains along the coastal range began to shake and tremble, and puffs of smoke shot out of them in all directions into the paths of the missiles and the planes. The missiles just hit the ground. They did not explode. The smoke had destroyed the missile's ability to navigate, to fly through the air, and they didn't hit their targets. It was also like shields or domes came over certain cities. Even the contaminated air couldn't go into those areas. It went around them. I saw many vehicles coming in our waters, on our waters, like ships opening up in front, and all these personnel carrying these things came out armored, right up upon our beaches, and upon these thousands of people began to head out. I saw the proud look on the faces of those that were driving the vehicles. I heard once again the thunderous voice from the heavens saying, "Watch what I will do." Suddenly, mountains puffed out smoke. Rivers of golden lava began flowing down a path right across the beaches in front of the invaders. Terror came on their faces, and they turned back and headed to the sea, fleeing for their lives as the waters behind them turned into steam. And the Lord said, "I have people in this land that I will not let them touch, for they are mine. They are my chosen, and I will keep my chosen safe. For I have yet a work for them to do, yet in this land and in many lands." Now, what's that saying? It's saying that God is going to be there to provide and to protect. Now, in closing, I just got some good news today. This is an email, literally. I got it today. And it says your electrical bill is $34.54. I said, what? There it is. There's proof. That's my electrical bill, $34.54. Well, as I told you, I had this solar system installed, and I don't think this is for even a full month. So I had the bookkeeper pull up what we have actually spent. This is my electrical bills, which for the last year has been averaging about $400 a month. And now it's $34 a month. That means this month, on the average, I paid $434 for my electricity. Well, the solar, I looked this up too. My solar payment is $458 a month. And then if you add the $34 I paid for electricity, that meant actually I paid $24 a month more, so that when the grid goes down, I will still have electricity. I got a question for you. Whatever your electrical bill is, would you be willing to pay $24 a month so when the grid goes down, you still have electricity? I believe you're saying yes. Now, not everybody fits, okay? So I looked it up. These are the 369 9 states that this guy can help you with solar. And what you want to do is go to solarsurge.net, solarsurge.net, enter the promo code prophecy. He'll take care of you. Good guy, prophecy student, follows Prophecy Club all the time. He understands what's going on. He understands what's coming. He'll be able to help you get solar. Now, there's 3 different kinds. You can get just the solar panels, or you can get solar panels with a battery backup, or you can get solar panels with a generator backup, or you can get all 3. And your payment may not be, but maybe a couple of $100 a month. I don't know, maybe even $100 a month. Depends on, what you want. But if you go to solarsurge.net, Joe will do you good. He will help you. Next is, I'll send you to empshield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery. You put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car. And the whole point is when the electricity goes off, or when some kind of a suitcase nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, empshield.com, promo code prophecy. So, Terry Saka of cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Why should someone call you today?
Well, the dollar used to be the world dominant reserve currency known as unipolar. It no longer is. It is now a multipolar world where Russia and China and others known as the BRICS are forming commodity-backed currencies to challenge the dollar. The dollar's day is coming. The dollar is going to crash. When it does, Owning gold and silver during that period will transfer wealth not away from you, but to you. And being prepared is vital at this moment.
Terry Saka, cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Give him a call. Go online today. It took me about 20 minutes to make these 2 loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at josephkitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just 1 person for a year, all at josephkitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at josephskitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. josephkitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order.